Oh, are you ready to rock?
Oh, folks, welcome.
The Budgie Smugglers, we're back.
We are back with a vengeance. Like the Backstreet Boys, we're back. All right.
Backstreet's back, baby.
How are we?
Comedian Jeremy Dooley. Also, comedian
yep.
Stephen Bradshaw, sticking to what little we know. How's your week been, Dools?
Hey, mate, I've had a belter of a week.
I've been excited to talk to you about this week, actually.
It's been a different week. It's been a very, very different week. So I did a daytime gig this week.
Notoriously comedy killers daytime gigs. Never,
absolutely.
Very rarely do you get a good daytime gig show.
I reckon before this week, the earliest gig I'd done maybe like a 5 p.m. Sunday Arvo show.
Yep.
When everyone's like Sunday session sort of thing.
Yep.
But doing a 1:30 p.m. start show to a room, I reckon there was...
This is on a Wednesday
a Wednesday, yep, during the week.
If you could pick any time in the entire week not to do a show, it would be 1:30 on a Wednesday.
Yeah, well, look, it worked.
I know, that's why.
Yeah,
I'm
which is
to talk
wild.
about.
Yeah, it was a new parent targeted show,
pram friendly show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so bring your baby, bring the pram. It's all good. We set up a little space if they need to go change their kids. And I think we had, there would have been 36 babies.
Yes.
Plus there would have been a handful of toddlers.
Yep.
And then, more people. I can't even remember how many there were in the end, but it was a lot. There was a lot happening on stage. It was great. It was a shit day. Weather-wise.
It was a shocker on Wednesday.
So I remember I had to duck to the supermarket last minute because I put on like tea and coffee and stuff like that for people in there. It was such a different vibe because it's like normally it's like you go to the bar, but this one I'm like, I'll make it like a thing. I'll get a big urn, tea, coffee, duck to the shops to get a big thing of coffee, and it was bucketing down.
Yes.
It was... hailing, I was saturated, got to the venue 5 minutes before we opened the doors, and people were just like streaming in, setting up shop, and it was great. It was cool. It was a fun show. It was a different show. Things that you don't think about making it different. So no one in the audience is ever fully attentive to you on stage.
Of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But I wasn't anticipating. I hadn't considered that.
I didn't even think of that either.
No, so I'm on stage and like looking at people are going from like looking at you to then looking down at their baby because their baby's wriggling or checking if they're awake or asleep, and then looking back at you. And so like sometimes they'll miss punchlines because they're distracted, or they'll miss the setup and then they'll get the punchline. So they're kind of laughing, but they don't know what they're laughing at. It was just a weird experience from that perspective, but it was a great show. It was, you have to, I think, change your like what is considered a crush. And I'd been on I'd been on a kill streak.
Yes.
And
a lot of good gigs the week before.
Yeah, exactly. And so to then step into this one where it's like, I cool, like the goalposts are very different here. But it was great. It was a really great show. A lot of people were really thankful for the show.
Yes, I'd imagine very gracious audience.
Yeah,
right?
and just like happy that they're like, oh, thank God you're doing something for us, and it's not about the kids. Like, if I go to another baby sensory thing or like lullaby thing, I'm gonna go postal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was cool. It was a lot of fun. I think I'll do a few more of these as the year.
As you should.
Moves on.
Looked like a great success.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, it was sold out of very little sort of advertising. So that was really cool. And then Thursday night, I was in Berwick at Devolution Bar with Dan Connell, Freddie Arthur, and Tej Munaganti, and that was a great. It was that joint. We were probably over capacity. We'd sold too many tickets, but that was a hot gig.
Sick.
Dan Connell's such a great comedian,
Amazing.
and everyone crushed. So yeah, it was really good. It's been a good week. They're sort of the two highlights for me this week for gigs. There's been a few other little bits and bobs in there, but those are the two ones to chat about.
Very good.
Very different experience. So I did some new stuff. I just threw in a couple of little things that were riffs at the baby show that hit well. I was
Yes.
like, oh, okay. Did the same riffs again, but built on it, added a bit more. So for the adult audience, I'm just going to see how this is going to land for a room of people who maybe that none of them have kids.
Yep.
I don't know these people. So it was good. It hit well with a bit more context. So it's been a good week. You know, a couple of new minutes in there. You know, some good gigs, good audiences.
Baby hecklers.
There was a few bits of crying. There's, you know, some people shat themselves. Also, some of the babies did too.
Dooley
Yeah,
gig.
exactly. That was great. It was like there was one point, probably about 20 minutes into the show, where it was almost like an orchestra of babies starting to cry, and then that settled down. Like it's just different things.
Yep.
50 minutes. I think I did in the end. So it was a good night. It was a good day.
Amazing. Congrats.
Thank
I'm
you.
Stoked to hear that.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear it went well.
How's your week?
My week, I had a cold for most of the week,
Yep.
so I didn't gig that much, but I did get to go out on Thursday night to the lovely Anglers Club in Hurstbridge.
Yes. Love that gig.
That is the coolest gig.
It is. It's a little secret gig.
It's a very secret gig.
I don't tell people about it, but every now and then
you'll
I'll
note I
recommend
didn't
people.
post it on my socials and that kind of thing. We'll keep it a secret. Not from the audience of Hurstbridge, but from other comedians. But that was great. Such a fun, beautiful setup of a room.
Yeah.
Like you move that room into somewhere in Melbourne and you've got yourself like a New York style comedy club, the tiered seatings. But they were a lovely audience.
Yep.
It was very fun. Well, firstly, before we get to
It's a different gig.
It's a different gig. We do have a new contender in my tiered series of free foods at comedy, and you did flag this with me. I got a delicious free pumpkin soup.
Pumpkin soup, good.
Oh my god!
I think last time I was there, it was potato and leek. Yeah.
Oh, I feel bad. I'm sure it was great.
Pumpkin soup's great winner.
Pumpkin soup, hearty. Like I said, coming off a cold. It's a cold night. In a Wolf Creek type situation, and to get this pumpkin soup. So that moves up to number 2. So the bone-in chicken in third place at the moment, pumpkin soup in second, still the fish burger from Ocean Reach is number 1. But it was great. It was interesting. I opened, and then there was a musical interlude, which I wasn't expecting.
Always, yep.
Which was great. And a very talented musician. Sorry, I forgot your name, mate. But a talented local singer-songwriter fella. And he was very good. And then another comedian, then a break, which I found quite confusing, Dooley. Because I find, Andrew is wonderful. He's not a comedian himself, but he's funny and he's very charming and had the audience on stage. So I'm like, oh, great. Because you never know. If you got someone emceeing that you haven't met before, you're like, ugh.
Nah, Kelso's great.
No, he's great. And he was great. The vibes are right. Then I came on, but it's the start of the show. It's a quieter audience. It's not, 30 or so. It's not packed to the brim. And then you spend 10 minutes, and by the end of it, you've got them all. Yeah. And they're all they were laughing from the start, but they were really getting into it. And so we're like, all right, we're ready to fire. And then here's a gentleman singing about depression. And then he came on. And like I said, he was fantastic. And then the next act came on, built him back up, and then we took a break. And then another act came on. She did wonderful, Paddy.
Paddy Fawcett.
Yes.
Yep.
Fantastic. She did great. And then again, but this time he came out and sung more songs about suicide and depression. And the closer was Ferg.
Yeah.
And we're sitting up the back, and I'm just like, don't worry, he's going to finish with a happy song. Ferg's just like, I'm so fucked. But he did great, obviously. But it was very funny to, the dynamics of comedy show better than anyone. And just like to have that musical break when you get the crowd going. But they were into it, and it worked. I tell you what, it goddamn worked. Yeah. More musical interludes, I say.
Hell yeah. It's a great gig. The first time I did that gig, where the stage, like where you perform at, was different. It was on like the far wall. So when you were standing on stage, it was on the wall to the left.
Okay.
Which is U-shaped, and there was no microphones back then. You just did it a cappella. But you also, the rooms, it's very dark in there. Like everything's black, walls are black, roof's black, everything's black. And so because it was a U-shaped stage, you couldn't see the big drop in the middle. I didn't stack it, but one of the comedians did stack during the show. It was
funny,
it's a fantastic. It's a very cool, very unique, very sometimes odd with the music, depending on who the musician or musicians are. I think I've done it once, and it was like a jazz duo.
That fits.
And that was a good night. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have had a bit of like depresso session in there. It's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Build this back up.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know.
The audience is going on a roller coaster of emotions.
A very big roller coaster of emotions, which was great. But they were warm because of the soup, so that was good.
Yep. Speaking of roller coasters, tell us about...
So I've literally just pulled in straight out of the car from Traralgon, where I did a gig last night. So I am a little bit hungover, smugglers. So apologies if I fall asleep at any stage in the next hour. But yes, a roller coaster is one way, but on roller coasters, I feel like there's high points, it's not just down. It's more like that,
Tunnel
that
building.
slide at Wet and Wild where the floor just drops out and you're just yelling and screaming.
Yes.
So it was lovely, run by Alex did a great job with the venue. The venue was awesome. Got a packed crowd. We pulled in. Got in there and straight away, it's going to be, it could either be the best night of your life or it could be the worst. Sadly, it was the latter. But just a lot of drunk, sort of chitty chattery type people. Like, I could get up there and, can I get on stage? Like a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of makeup on, tits out type vibe as well, which was great. They were all keen for it. And then, before the show even started, Alex Main, who doesn't normally MC, but he took it upon himself to make sure we had a great night. He was getting a lot of unsolicited advice on how to MC the show, which was great from all the comedians, which just got him in the wrong headspace from the start. Also, I don't know why we did this, but for some reason we just started picking on him from the start, even though he's put us up, he's sorted us out with accommodation, got us a great gig. Did everything right, but we were just giving him shit from the jump. So he was not in the right headspace to start with. As soon as he gets on stage, he doesn't even get 3 words out before there's someone up the front, right? Just nonsensical yammering, just like that kind of stuff. And he couldn't get a word out. He tried to reset as best as he could, as good as anyone could try. It's just like, listen, we're here to have a good night. We're going to need you to be, that kind of stuff. And then that progressively got angrier and angrier. So we're about 5 minutes in. Not a joke to be heard yet. It's just crowd control. And then he starts doing a joke, and it just didn't even finish the setup. And before security was called in and kicked out the entire front row doors, which great start to the show. Ripping start to the show. So I literally ran up. I got Alex off stage. I'm like, get off stage. So he came off, and then there was a secondary mic, which was good. And then we restarted the show, and they're actually pretty good. I did start at one stage, and na. And then the whole crowd, it was one of those ones too, the crowd is like just yelling out, and it's Traralgon, good country folk. They're like, shut the fuck up. Dropping C-bombs, calling them B-words, all that kind of stuff. It was so funny, Dools. But to have an entire audience like turn against people, and to have Alex up there flopping like a fish out of water was great. As I would have done in the same situation. And then apparently it got so bad that the police were called in because they would leave the venue, which was great. And then after that, a comedy show kind of happened. But it was tough to get.
How was the comedy show when it happened? Because this sounds like the highlight of the show for me.
Oh, it was by far the highlight of the show. It was by far. Like, I was crying up the back. Like, we are the comedians. No one else is laughing, but the table of comedians, we're heaved over. So funny. That was definitely the highlight of the show. And then comedy happened, and the crowd they were lovely. They love setup punchlines. The crowd work was tough because everyone was so pissed. So we all stayed away from the crowd worky type stuff. But they loved to set up. They loved a punchline. So anyone that was doing that kind of stuff did okay, did fine. But it was it was the biggest clusterfuck I've ever seen at the start of a show ever.
I see. I'm just having a look now at his. I see you doing another gig of his next month at the Aussie in
Shepparton. So any smugglers? Because I would be tough to get any tickets because no, actually it's the opposite because they've sold 0. But it should be interesting. Should be interesting. How far a drive am I looking at there? 3 hours, 2.5?
No, it's about 2.5, depending on time of day you leave.
Yeah. So we shall see. But good on him. Good on us. Getting out there, getting out to the country. And I'm the same as you, Dools. I've been pretty much regional every weekend all month. Heathcote, Phillip Islands, Bendigo, or pretty much every weekend. Geelong, not so much regional, but a bit out of the city, and just on an abs having the best time of my life on these gigs. You're at Phillip Island with me last weekend, great gig, and then so I did have a little bit of. Think I'm going to do pretty well here. Yep. And then the show started, and then I went, you know what? I'm here.
It's a really common thing for city comedians when they go regional to just assume they're going to bomb. Assume they're going to crush. Because that mentality of they should be grateful.
Yes.
And so when they bomb, it's a regional bomb is unlike a city bomb. Because I did a gig and it was me, Gary Johal and Alex Keane were in Euroa.
Yes.
Seven Creeks Hotel, fantastic pub. They really looked after us. I got on, so I was emceeing and I did 20 minutes at the start, it was sort of like me, then Gary, then break, then me, then Alex, and so I was doing like well enough, like as the MC, like, my job when I'm MCing is not to be the best on the lineup. If I am, then it hasn't
Alex
gone well.
Alex did nail that part last night.
Yeah. So I got on. Did well. Like I was like, this is going to be a great night. Like, I had to work a little bit at the start just to like teach them how to be an audience because some people don't go to shows and live shows, so they don't know. And then Gary got on and started well, and then it was like first joke did well, second joke not as well, third joke not as good as the second joke, fourth not as good as the third, and then by then it was just crickets.
Yeah,
there was a long 20 to 25 minutes that he did, and he just made some joke just like, I'm just gonna go and drive into a tree after this, but I think that's it. I'm gonna end it. This is so bad, blah blah blah. And then, the break happened. There was a group of young women who sat in the front row who, during Gary's set, very chatty, like amongst themselves. Like, I didn't give a shit that there was a comedy. They were in the front row, just like, doing like Snapchat selfies and all that sort of shit.
They love Snapchat in the country, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I didn't know that was still a thing.
Neither did I.
But we both got girlfriends, so that's probably why.
True.
And anyway, so like during the break, they're like, we just want to chat and like have drinks and catch up. Is it okay if we don't stay for the second half? Just like, fucking please, get the fuck, like go. And I get on second half of the show again, like do all right. Like they seem to like me. Keno got on at the end and just did not do well at all. Not as bad as Gary, but wasn't far off. And afterwards, like this guy comes up to us. He's like, yeah. The comedians kind of lost the room when they made some of those like sort of suicide jokes because like a family, see that big group of 10 that were there, like someone in their family did that like 6 months ago in the way that the first guy said it. It was like, oh, fuck. It was a long drive home. The beers were delicious that night though because they needed to be.
Yes, I could imagine.
But yeah,
did you stay the night or did you drive?
No, we stayed the night. They looked after us. So they, they made us like fresh meal after the show, after pack up as well, which is great.
Oh, I love that.
Put us up in rooms, which was great. A couple of beers by the fire beforehand. So it's a fantastic pub. Ooh. Seven Creeks Hotel, Euroa. Get around it.
I'll get on that.
It's great pub. Great country pub. Hey, I got a question.
Yes.
So, at the baby show, I went, I bought sort of, a whole bunch of different teas. Some coffee.
Yep.
The Arnott's family pack.
Yes.
What's your go-to? What's the best biscuit in the Arnott's family pack?
It's the one. This is a great question. I was We I just want to note that we're 20 minutes into a sports podcast. Haven't mentioned sport and have brought up food twice,
Yeah.
which we are getting a bit of feedback from some of the there was a couple of smugglers in Traralgon last night. Thanks for coming out. But we are getting a lot of feedback that we talk a lot more about food.
I have noticed a few food people following us.
Is there as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, they think it's a food podcast. I want to look up the name, but there's a little one that there's only like 3 or 4 of them in the pack. And it's the thing with like the chocolate, and it's kind of like
Kingston's.
100%.
100% God tier. I got the wrong family pack, and I got the ones that didn't have any of the cream filling biscuits in there.
Oh no!
I was like, this is so good. This is only $5. I'm gonna eat so many Kingstons. Got a few of these packs in there. Opened them up. No, it was all the dry biscuits.
Oh no! You got the family favorites instead of the cream favorites.
Yeah.
Wait, what is going on here? Where's the stand? Where's the one with both? You don't want just cream. You don't want.
I don't know if there is one with both. The saving grace in this one, they had some Scotch fingers, which
do you love Scotch finger?
They're all right. They're not like too dry, but then it was just like
some of the toddlers would have got around the teddy bears, I'd imagine.
Yeah, liked the teddy bears. But that was not good.
Not good. So you're Kingston as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Kingston's god tier.
What are your thoughts of the Monte Carlo?
Overrated.
I don't rate it at all.
Overrated.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's people like, oh, Monte Carlo, like the place maybe, but not the not the biscuit. No,
that is a great question. Let us know what your favorite biscuit is. We're moving over to the comment section, Dools.
Yes. All right. We had a few different things pop in. I haven't put in my
They're still
audience
commenting about the Bradman thing. I hope you got some of those in.
No,
here.
I don't. I'll leave the Bradman ones for you here. So Timmy Coffee 66. This was about my thoughts on the Matildas and Socceroos. Should be on free to air. Timmy Coffee 66. Long game. They'll go free to air when the NRL and AFL go full pay-per-view. A lot of stuff, a lot of hate and anger, especially towards the AFL for having their all of their Saturday games behind a paywall on KO and Fox. So that's a thing that's really popping off. People are very unhappy that there's no free-to-air on a Saturday.
Here's one you might have missed too while we're on that. This was on our YouTube. Jacob01 Oz said, agree with you guys that Socceroos and Matildas should be... And he watched the whole episode, by the way. So that's how people are committed to this thing. Should be on free-to-air. However, I feel that the lack of government funding for soccer is pigeonholing them into making decisions like this, Dools.
Yep, he gets it.
He totally gets it. They're making $200 million off the broadcast deal, which is crucial for the sport. I replied that $200 million should be coming from the government in the form of putting it on ABC or SBS or something like that, right?
Yeah, and building some infrastructure. So like the Brisbane Olympics, like AFL will benefit from that, even though like there's a world game that gets played in Australia.
Exactly.
Just short-sightedness, but AFL. They're their own sort of political party.
Exactly.
Gurgles, maybe? Gargles. I'm not sure. GRGLS _503. How would you pronounce that? Gurgles? Gargles? Gargoyles.
Gurgles?
I don't know. I miss when it was all on Foxtel, but now everything is just streaming. ... Yeah, Foxtel... the Super Saturdays with Bozza and Adam Peacock. Then you'd start with the A-Leagues and you'd end with EPL. Oh, what a time to be alive when the World Cup was on as well. You got to have Bozza just doing his little laugh there.
It's very good. You get up early, you'd watch Simpsons from 9 to 12, and then over to the soccer or whatever you got going on.
Put pants on all day.
Do you know anyone that has Foxtel, by the way?
Nah.
It's wild. If I went to someone's house
and
they
had
Fox, I think so.
Yeah, right. There you go. I back in the day had Optus Vision.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Because of the soccer?
No, because we were cheap and they were doing like 3 months for free.
I forgot.
Optus Vision. Not Optus Sports, Optus Vision.
Vision, yeah. That's taking me back.
It was the first time I saw the movie Under Siege Part 2 Dark Territories with Steven Seagal.
Ooh, that's they're on a train instead of a boat, right?
Yeah. Great movie.
That. Good. It's like the reverse of Speed, which started on public transport and then went to the SA. So
T Scott _ oh no, Fallout. Nobody cares about soccer in the mainstream. Champ.
Champed this. We got champed. I didn't see that.
Yeah. Foreign game for foreigners.
Ooh, bloody hell.
What a fuckwit. But then the comments in reply went off at Fallout.
What was this on?
On TikTok.
Oh, boy.
So this is just one that I thought most from T Scott _ 11. Most participants playing the sport in Australia, by the way, and I guarantee a lot of those participants are Aussies because soccer is the most highly participated sport in the
globe.
In Australia.
In Australia,
in
is
Australia,
it?
In Australia, and someone wrote, "It's the world game, and Australia is on the world. Therefore, it is also Australia's
Whoever
game."
said that's a bloody genius.
Yep.
I told you.
Riley P 2024. This podcast seems to be huge. Might have something to do with the great opinions shared on it.
Oh, this guy gets it.
Yeah, they claim to love Aussie sport, but they literally are just negative about the whole thing. Riley P, I think you need to, extend your attention span beyond the reels that we post, which are edited to get points across. Maybe listen to the whole thing. You'll find we love Aussie sport.
I think you'll find the P in Riley P stands for piece of shit. Shut up, Riley.
Sockless Jones. That's a
good name.
That's one of my favorite handles. This was on the NBA Aussie champions or Aussies to win a ring.
Yes.
I was rattling my brain to figure out the 9th. Kyrie completely slipped my mind as an Aussie.
Yes. No, which is very fair, but born and raised for a couple of months in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then
I think he's got an Aussie passport.
He does have an Aussie passport. Yeah. He might be a part of our Olympic team in the Olympics in LA. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd take him. I did just want to look. There's too many comments on this Bradman thing, but you missed one, or a new one just came in yesterday that says Nathan Lyon is overrated. Is the worst take I've ever heard.
Was that you who wrote that,
or
Nathan Lyon?
No, it was Tim Ford, brother of Nathan Lyon. But I did want to point out he spelt Nathan wrong. That you did get one bit of shade in the. I think we're up to 100 comments now.
Jesus,
just on TikTok,
just against you.
Yeah, they're all anti me, but it's been fun. Love the comment section. Keep them coming, smugglers.
Yep. Now, at one of my gigs, I love. I spend a lot of time chatting to the punters after the show, as much as possible. I had a really interesting question. I was telling a punter I'm about to hit the road for an extended period. Lots of long drives. The question was who and what. Like it was two-parter. Who decides what gets played on the radio? And what do you listen to?
Wait, who decides?
So when you're on a road trip.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant on like who works at Fox FM.
No. So when you're on the road trip in a car full of comedians, who controls the playlist?
The driver.
100%. Okay, interesting.
And if anyone else wants to play around with it, you're gone. You're walking. Yep. I'll drop you off and maul.
So the thing that that I landed on was the front passenger decides what's on the playlist and what's getting played, because that person is the second most important person. Probably the most important other than the driver is driving, but the passenger in the front has to keep the driver awake. And so they need music to keep them awake and to chat about. And it's okay if it annoys the driver because that's going to keep the driver awake.
Yep. No, that's actually good. And I'm thinking to some of the road trips, there's a few different, it depends. Yep. It does depend on who's in the car, what the situation is. Like me and Jai, 2 hours there, 2 and a bit hours back. And we were just jibber jabbering the whole time. Nothing on the radio. Yep. Which is great. I've also, if you're the passenger, but it's your car.
Yep.
You're definitely in charge of the music.
Yep.
And then if it's one of those car trips where there's a designated driver and everyone in the car is drinking, then the driver has no say in anything. They see complete control. So, yeah.
I think so the rule for this tour is no comedy podcasts.
Great. Who is in the car this time around?
So it's myself.
Yep.
Nikki Justice.
Yep.
Dool's Dooley Man.
Yes.
And Chris Shin.
Okay.
All Perth comics other than myself. Of different levels of experience. So I would say it'll be a no podcast, full stop.
Wow.
It'll just be music or You know what's actually a weird saving grace on a long road trip with comedians is a test match.
Oh, yes.
Because there's just something in the
Yes.
background that you can kind of zone in and zone out of. There's guaranteed to be at least one person who really loves cricket and one person that really hates cricket who can antagonize each other and talk about it.
Yep.
And that's kind of all you need.
Interesting. On these, because we're talking proper road trip. We're talking 12 to
Oh,
15
yeah.
hours
Yeah.
in the car.
You're driving
right? Which is very
all
different.
day. Yeah.
Is there a decorum? Is there someone in that maybe in the back with headphones
Yep.
on? Just
Yep.
Yep.
So I would say the sign of I'm gonna sleep and zone out headphones.
Yep.
And if you've got a hood, putting that over.
Yep.
As well. Otherwise, it's sort of every
Yep.
you're just having chats. Some people aren't chatty. I'm not super chatty. I'm pretty quiet actually. But there's always someone will be talking rubbish. Someone's giving shit to someone or talking shit about someone who's not in the car.
Yes, that
That's
is very
generally
comedian
happens.
type of a drive.
But yeah, it was an interesting question. So yeah, thank you.
Great question. Who asked that?
It was Marson, I think that. I don't know how to. There was an accent involved, and they were very interested about regional WA and the animals that you see, and you do see a lot of animals. You got to be aware of emus, kangaroos, cows.
Yes.
Iguanas, goannas or whatever they are, giant lizards crossing the road, as well as road trains. So that's how the conversation started, talking about that. And it was Marcin.
Okay.
Like the name, the person that it reminded me of is former NBA center Marcin Gortat.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Like that, I think it was that name.
It's like they've messed up Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if
European
Martin and Mark. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I did have a question after actually in the Anglers Club.
Yep.
Can't remember the gentleman's name, but the question was because I talked a bit about being from the Cook Islands, and he was interested in that. And he said, "Do you have a hot older sister?" Which
Do you?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't. I have an older brother. He
Not
was
hot?
Hurstbridge. he goes all right. But I think he said, "Nah, don't do dicks." He was shit faced. That was great. So it was good. Loved Hurstbridge. Anglers. Nah, don't do dicks. Oh, but it has been a big week in sport. Jules, you want to get into it?
Yeah, it's been huge. A lot's happened. Guacamole Picklum into the semi-finals at the Saquarema, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Oh, the Vivo Pro in Brazil. I think they might be, those heats might be popping off the Savo. So, or in 7 a.m. Brazil time. So excited. Is this the week that she finally jags a win, Dools?
Yeah, surely. We had Min Woo Lee.
Sister Min Ji Lee.
Min Ji Lee. I was close. It was a 50% win last week.
That was 33%.
In another sport. So hopefully, in a totally unrelated series of events, Guacamole Picklum will win this week.
Well, apparently her brother Min Woo Lee is off to a flyer at the Detroit PGA as well. So it could be a max week for that crew. Here's something interesting. Australian teenager Maya Joint beat Alexandra Eala in a 3-set epic in the Eastbourne Open final, which is a precursor to Wimbledon. What do you know about Maya Joint? Maya hurts a lot because I'm getting old. My knees.
Look, Maya Joint, worried about getting drug tested for the joints. Hey. Big fan of the musician singer Maya from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep, very good.
And she did well. So she's now in Wimbledon. Is that the case?
So.
Huge.
Yeah.
As a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been described as a teenage sensation.
Oh,
Maya
teenage
Joint,
sensation.
which is great. Hey, I forgot to bring this up in the Open. I ordered a sandwich yesterday, on DoorDash.
Okay.
And it's one of those places. It's like a $25 sandwich.
Yep.
Which is
So
quite
you
a lot.
want it to be good.
You want it to be good. I don't order it very often, special occasions only. And you get your choice of bread. And I chose baguette, and they sent me a ciabatta.
Oh,
And I
very
was
different.
Fuming, Dooley. I was sending abuse. You ever have that where you just like, it's close, but
Yeah,
I was fuming.
Yeah. Because it's like, especially if it's something where you have to put a little bit of thought into, you got to pick the bread, you got to pick the fillings. Absolutely. I ordered some Chinese food for dinner 2 weeks ago, and got someone else's order entirely.
Ooh, but was it better than your order or
No,
way worse?
way
Oh,
worse,
that
way
sucks.
worse. It was like 3 dishes of fried rice and like some real like basic bitch sort of stir fry. And it's like we'd ordered, dumplings and all this stuff, and I'd ordered a creamy soda, and it was a can of Coke. It was not good. But then I'm quick on the like, I want my refund.
Yes.
And I got a full refund.
You better believe I didn't pay for this sandwich.
Nah, not at all. Like a rookie.
What else is going on?
Oh, I tell you what, it's all happening at Princes Park, at Icon Stadium or Park, whatever it's called these days. Carltons Home Ground got absolutely vandalised with graffiti.
Crazy.
Sack the board, keep Voss, Ton de Koning, yes or no. Sack Austin and Lloyd, which would be Nick Austin and Brad Lloyd, footy and list managers there. I tell you what, the Carlton, they're a bit of a rabble. Carlton is like Essendon in that they still think that they're a big club, but they're not.
No.
And they still will puff their chest out, and their fans
They're
are
a goddamn rabble.
obnoxious. But
they're also, I don't know, have you seen the graffiti, Dools?
it looked pretty basic.
It was very bad. Black spray paint,
Yeah.
the spacing. This is Melbourne. If you're going to defame something, you've got to have some artistic flair to it.
Yeah, or
particularly
be funny.
Or be funny. Sack the board. The spacing's terrible on that one. Keep Voss. That's a weird take from a Carlton supporter. But,
yeah.
Whatever. I like that they're not just being completely negative. TDK, yes or no? Could he? I would go no. Because then he can come to the Saints. Yeah, I'd be going. But yeah, some absolutely disgraceful lettering on this. Is there any other things you would spray paint if you were down there at Carlton?
I'd be just like saying bring back and then insert players and coaching staff. Bring back Mick McGuan.
Yes.
He famously paid like a game or two there. Bring back Mick Martin.
Yeah.
I'd
bring back Michael Malthouse.
Yeah, exactly. Like bring back what was the guy that they had after Malthouse? He was at Hawthorn.
Brendan Bolton.
Bring back Bolton, because that also is good alliteration there. Triple B. The BBB.
Bring back Souvlaki Hut.
Yeah, exactly. Bring back Ange and Kuda.
Yes, that would be good.
Like Carlton, they're famously their coteries and their sort of sponsorship kind of, run the club there, and are very overly influential.
They're not influencing too good.
No, not at all.
Do you know who is good? Apparently, Australia beat the West Indies in a cricket test match by 159 duels. What did you think of this outstanding test match?
Well, I know that the Windies bowled them out in the first innings for a very low score.
Oh, did they? And people say we know nothing about cricket.
Exactly, yeah. Shamar Joseph, what a bowler. I'm just going off the top of the dome there. I hope I got that right. He may not be a bowler or exist. Does Shivnarine Chandapal still play for the West Indies?
Maybe Chandapal.
Yeah,
Chandapal.
And he had the thing. He had the things on his cheeks. That's all I remember.
Cheekbones?
No, not like he had like a little bit of tape or some shit on his cheeks.
Like Nelly.
Yeah, he was basically Nelly. Yeah. Country grammar.
Chandapal.
Well done to the Aussies. The West Indies, when I enjoyed cricket, it was because of the West Indies.
100%.
They were fun. They were kind of a little bit nasty. They didn't back away. Fast bowlers. They'd hit you all over the park.
Love that.
Curtly Ambrose was terrifying.
Loved Curtly. I was a big West Indies fan because of the movie Cool Runnings.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Loved it. I grew up on Bob Marley. I was all about the Windies.
Jamaica, we have a bobsled team.
That's the one.
Yep. Sanka, you're dead. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
What else is going on in sport, Jules?
Tell you what, Gout.
Woo!
Bursting onto the scene as a senior now. not as in elderly, but just, he's not in the juniors. Beating his own 200-meter national record, shaving, like a bee's dick off it, 0.02 of a second at his first senior international event.
Amazing. Big win for Gout Gout. Did you see the race?
It was, but he was like second for a bit and then just like went, all right.
Piss bolted it. It was what? Because I'm like, he broke the record and didn't even win the race. But then that last sort of 30 to 40 meters put the burners on. It was beautiful to watch.
Yep.
We love a bit of Gout Gout. The biggest news of the week, Dools. Let's break it down. 4 Aussies in the NBA draft. First time since 1997. You almost got it right last week off the top of the dome. Can you remember the 4 in 1997?
Ben Pepper, CJ Bruton, Brad Newley, Chris Anstey.
I don't think it was Brad Newley, though.
Oh, wasn't it?
I think it might have been someone else. But yes, very good. Very impressive. All-star picks. It's a bit sad that we
it was Paul Rogers.
Paul Rogers, that's it. Thank you. But it was fun watching the second. It's never fun watching the second round. But when you got 4 names, you kind of got your fingers, your toes crossed. Yeah. See our boys get drafted. You saw Tyrese Proctor was at the very top of the best available for about 15, 20 picks. But it actually worked out to be a great draft in terms of where they landed. We'll start. Rocco got drafted first. Rocco Sakarski, the 7'4" big man.
Yes, not Rocco Siffredi. Very different. Very different person.
Very different. Both huge.
Yeah.
7'3".
Hard in the paint. Yeah.
He development big. He's only 18. He's huge. He's gangly. He put up some great statistics in the combine as well with his shooting and agility. He goes to Minnesota, where I think it could be a good fit. What do you reckon, Dawes?
Yeah, he's a few years away from being a few years away.
Yes.
They need to, I would say, let him cook for a little bit in Australia, then bring him over, let him cook a little bit in the G League, and then, then he should be ready there. But at that age, you don't want to bring him over straight because he's not ready yet. So don't bring him over straight away. And
you don't think they'll bring him over to the G League?
They'll bring him over for Summer League, surely. Yeah. But having him sit on the bench, not going to be great. So if he's playing in the G League, that's probably a good move. But, I'd also consider leaving him in the NBL for a season.
I feel like there couldn't have been a much better team for him to go to. You've got Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid. Obviously, Naz Reid, a nice shooting big man that gets after it, tenacious, which I think Rocco can learn from. And then you got the defense of Rudy Gobert to sort of lean on, and obviously say what you will about Rudy Gobert, overrated defensively, sure, but he does know what he's doing and where he should be most of the time on defense. So I think he can. I was really stoked that he got picked up by Minnesota. Who else got picked up, Dools?
Lockie Ulbrich.
He sure did.
To Chicago. I think he's actually a little bit of a chance to go over. It's always about like being in the right situation, and they've got a lot of backcourt scoring in Chicago. So having just like a, do the dirty work big man is going to be useful. I reckon he'll see a lot of G League time.
A lot of G League time, but there is a route forward for him. I think, again, a good pick for him. Their forwards are Garbage. Their centers, Garbage. I mean, Vooch is great.
Yeah, Vooch is good. Drops away. It's pretty thin after the Vooch.
It does drop away after that. So, there's a pathway there. I saw some photos of him today. He looked good in the Chicago red and white, let me tell you. But I think there's a pathway.
Yep.
They just got rid of... they did just bring in a new forward. They traded out Lonzo Ball this morning. I don't know if you saw that. For someone, I forgot. But
was it Isaac Okoro?
Yep, Okoro, I think, from the Cavs. So, I mean, there's he could potentially see some time. Maybe. So I like that pick. I like that fit for him.
Yep. What do you think about Alex Tui at the Warriors?
Loved it. They're gonna have to fill up some roster spots with draftees. They're gonna lose Kuminga for nothing. They do have a little bit of cap space, but they've got a bunch of free agents they've got to re-sign. GP3 and the likes. So they really liked his IQ, his positioning. A big bodied passer
Yep.
who they believe can fit straight into their system. He is a very good fit for GSW. He could, and they have shown that they're willing to give minutes to young guys. They were playing, 12 to 13 players during the regular season last year. So they give people a chance, and he can sink or swim. But in that system, that's the type of system he needs to be in, where he's not being relied on to do anything.
And
really.
he's a smart player.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be really helpful for him there, because the way that they play, especially offensively, is about being smart and making quick decisions. And, he's not a player who needs to rely on athleticism that he doesn't have. So he can, pass the ball, keep it moving, take the open shot, do the little things. And they need, with the way their roster's constructed, players who can do the little things and are low maintenance. And he's got a chance to stick and be that sort of, 10th man, to work up to that sort of point. I think the draftee I'm most excited about is Tyrese Proctor. I think that's a good spot for him. I think he'll have the longest career in the NBA of the draftees.
Yep. That's a great picker, unless something amazing happens with Rocco's development. I agree with that.
I think just reliable backup point guard will play minutes. We'll see multiple contracts. I think he could be like your Aaron Holiday, who's that Houston type sort of player who just stays ready when it's his turn, comes in, will make a shot, will make a pass, will do some things defensively. Smart player, and I think in his college career, playing with some high-level players and understanding how to be a good complementary piece.
First and 4th and 10th pick in this, 3 top 10 picks in this draft as well. So he has played with some very good players and did great. Shot over 40% from 3, low turnovers, good athlete.
Yep.
I think that's a really good fit. And the Cavs, although they did trade for Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball's going to play, 12 to 13 games next year, so that doesn't matter.
Jerome may not stick around.
Jerome will not stick around. They can't afford him, unfortunately.
Mitchell can get injured every now and then.
Garland's already injured. Who knows when he's coming back? He should be back for the start of the season, but who knows? So I could see him, we'll see how it goes in Summer League, which starts next week, if you can believe it.
I think he'll start the season in the G League, but I think by the end of the season he'll be.
I think he's going to go straight in. We'll see how that goes, but I think he'll be playing game 1 for that team. Huge. All right. I think we've got the top 5.
Okay, we've got the top 5. So I've thought about this a little bit, and I'm going to also throw to you in this as well.
I love it.
So
get me in, coach.
I'll do my top 5 as alongside you doing an impromptu top 5.
Yes.
Now, we've been accused by some flog in the comments, Riley P, of just being constantly negative. And I would suggest that Riley P has no idea what he's talking about and doesn't.
The P stands for piece of shit, Doos.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't listen to the podcast.
Yes, exactly.
That's how much of the podcast he listens to is just the P.
Did you hear the NBA draft recap? We smashed that out of the park. We didn't discuss any of this before we don't discuss anything before we just rock up. And I think we kind of nailed that. Yeah.
So I'm going to give you 5 different sports, of which in Australian sport there are many, but I've just gone top 5 off the dome, and I'm going to give you my favourite player from each of those sports.
Let's do it.
All right.
So we've got a top 5, which has 5 different top 1s.
Yeah.
But there's 2 of us, so it's kind of a top 10.
Top 10 of 1s.
Okay, top 10 of 1s.
In 5 different sports.
Okay, this is great.
Yeah. So, and it has to be an Aussie, obviously.
Yes.
All right. So, basketball.
Top 1
Top
basketball?
1. Who's your favourite Aussie basketballer?
Are we all time or current day? We didn't discuss.
You can decide. Yeah,
I can decide.
You give us some context. Yeah, doesn't matter.
I think.
What would be better for you, all time or current day?
I feel like we should stay current. I prefer all time though.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's do
1 of each.
Let's do 1 of each.
Okay,
so now this is a top 20.
I think it's so hard. I mean that I can't put in Giddey or Daniels yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think my heart is saying Luke Longley, but I would have to go with Patty Mills.
Yep.
Have to go with Patty Mills, who just signed up to, he's gone to the University of Florida to run as their GM.
Oh.
No, Hawaii, sorry.
Is that as a current or he's passed now?
I'm going to add both.
Okay, both.
I'm putting in for both, current
Country
and past.
and Western. Okay, I would say for me, All time,
Gazy.
the guru, Andrew Gaze.
Yeah.
Current, I would say, because, well, we're still deciding what Paddy Mills is, so I'm going to go with Joe Ingles.
Oh, yes.
Love Jinglin' Joe. What a man.
I mean, there's so many to pick for in basketball. That's a tough one to throw up first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk all day about that.
This one's going to be interesting. Your favorite sport, soccer, the world game.
Soccer?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I loved Viduka.
Yeah, Dukes.
I loved Viduka. Actually, Timmy Cahill probably. Is he still playing?
No, he doesn't play
anymore. So maybe Timmy Cahill. I love Viduka. And then current Australian players. Could you tell me one? Is Archie Thompson still kicking around?
Archie Thompson. No, he's not.
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. There
I
you
do
go.
like Matt Ryan.
The captain.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I would say my favorite. It was a toss-up for me between Viduka, because he at his prime was phenomenal, very underappreciated. Harry Kewell, when he was at Leeds in particular, was unbelievable. And then just his body was made of paper mache and
sucked.
And bringing it into like Kevin Muscat as well. Loved Muskie.
The way he went about it.
Oh,
yeah, I did
bash
like
people.
That. I did like that. I just fell into a little bit of a Harry Kewell algorithm for a day or so, and just watching some of those passes, some of those shots, beautiful.
Yep. Absolutely. So I'll probably go with Dukes, and then of current day players, I big fan of Big Harry Suter.
Okay.
He's
Me too.
big. He's big, lumbering. He's always injured, and he played great at the last World Cup for Australia. Did some huge things. So big fan of him.
When is the next World Cup? 2 years? 1 year.
I don't even know what year we're in now. What
2025.
I think is it next year? I don't know.
I hope so. I'm excited for it. I can't stop thinking about it.
Cricket.
Yes.
Our favourite sport.
Oh, cricket. I think Donald Bradman. I grew up on DB.
Nathan
this one's easy. It's Shane Warne, hands down. I went to many a cricket match, whether it was a Boxing Day, even when the Big Bash first started, I would go just if Warney was playing. So I think he's the only cricketer that's ever made me want to leave the house to go and watch cricket.
Yep.
Current day, honestly, I don't watch it enough, Jules, but I do like Adam Gilchrist. Is he still going?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't. No one. I've even watched the test, so I'm pretty au fait with all the players and everything like that. I do, and I'll watch it when it's on. But honestly, no one really grabs me the way they play to make me excited about the game at the moment. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yep, fair enough. My favorite all time. So I remember one year for a birthday, I got given a video. And it was like
VHS.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was it was like like epic tests or something like that. And Jeff Thompson on it. It was fast bowler, but he had like a real unique slingshot action. I was just so enthralled by that. So he'd be my favorite Aussie cricketer of all time, Tomo or Thomo, I don't know. And current, I like bowlers. So we'll go with Pat Cummins.
Oh yep.
Solid captain. I think he's actually a pretty underrated captain.
As opposed to the overrated Nathan Lyon.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. What else you got for me?
MMA.
Yes, MMA. Aussie MMA. Oh, this is a good one. I think, we'll call him an Aussie. Mark Hunt's definitely my all-time favorite fighter ever. Loved Mark Hunt. Big Samoan, Kiwi, but an Aussie out of Sydney. So we claimed him, didn't we?
Yep.
So definitely Mark Hunt's number one. Right now, that's a really tough one. I think everything all considered, you have to go Volk.
Yeah, you got to go Volk.
Yeah.
Volk gets both all time and current day. Big fan of the Volk. Like Whitaker, liked... his name escapes me now. I can see him... Tai Tuivasa.
Yes.
He was
Bam Bam.
great. Yeah.
Love Bam Bam.
But yeah, can't go
both
past
Bam Bam and Mark Hunt. That was bloody close. So close.
Yep. AFL.
AFL, all time. I had a staffy called Milne.
Yeah, right.
I love Stephen Milne when I was younger. So Milne would probably, but he's probably not my all-time. Nicky Wimmar's definitely my all-time favorite. I grew up on going down to Moorabbin, watching him kicking to a plugger kicking 10 goals, the Saints losing by 100 points. Oh, those were the days, Dools. So Nicky Wimmar was, definitely my favorite. I had the number 7 on my back. Current day Sainers, Nazaya Wanganeen-Malera.
Yep.
Love the way he goes about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Difficult for me to pick my favorite player all time because there's probably 2 that spring to mind straight away.
Dusty and Richo?
Richo, one of them, absolutely. Loved Matty Richardson. He was Richmond through and through, like a very emotional player.
Yep.
You'd tear your heart out sometimes, and he'd do something spectacular for weeks on end. Would always get injured badly. It still kicked 800 goals, considering he missed so many games of football and so many shots on goal.
Yep. Does he have the record for most goals at the G?
Possibly, not
so.
sure.
Doesn't matter.
And played the last year on the wing and nearly
killed.
won the Brownlow.
Yeah.
He only missed out because he was injured for like 2 games at the end. So Richo absolutely up there. Gary Ablett Senior,
great call.
Best player of all time. I think I know.
I love him as well.
It's tough. When I was little, my dad would say, "Where's Gary?" and I would point to the sky because I literally thought that God and Gary Ablett was the same person, which is wild. So he would just do some freakish shit on the footy field, like kicking goals, running through players, taking hangers. Started his career on the flank and on the wing and stuff like that. So it wasn't until later in his career that he went to full forward,
which is wild.
Amazing. His 89 final series, unbelievable. His grand final.
Yep. He stood up in big games, even though they didn't quite get it done. His son was the only player, because I'm such a big Saints fan, I wouldn't even, occasionally I'll go and see some games. Like I went to the grand final last year without the Saints, but if someone's like, hey, Gold Coast are in town, I've got a free ticket, I'll be like, absolutely, because I just loved watching Gary Ablett Jr. play as well. Yeah.
Yep. Very nice. And of current players, I mean, look, it's slim pickings at Richmond at the moment. Like it's sort of a bit of an empty cupboard. But my favourite player at the moment would be probably Matt Rowell.
Oh, really?
At the Suns.
Future
Love
Collingwood
Rowley.
midfielder Matt Rowell.
Love Rowley.
Yep.
Rowley's the man. He was very, very coachable player as a junior, elite. Goes all right off field as well. Don't let his looks fool you. He does well, Rowley.
Well done, mate. I'm happy to hear that.
I mean, I haven't spoken to him for a couple of years, but he did. So Rowley, from a coaching perspective, a coach's dream because he was very good both ways.
Yes. Amazing. There you go. Was that it? Is that at 5?
That's it, yeah.
Oh, that was a great top 5. That was like a top 20.
Yeah,
so
it was top 20.
Top 5, top 2 of 5 different things.
Yeah.
By 2 people.
Yeah.
Love that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we made it.
That was
pretty good.
That's positive. Hey, Riley P.
The only thing we're
2024.
negative about is you Riley Peanut, whatever your P stands for. But that was fun. What do you got? You're off to your big.
Yeah, I'm off.
The bags packed.
So no, they're not. I'm off for a 3-week run in Western Australia. So we are recording this earlier than usual. So we are a bit light on with the results. I basically
breaking news. Oscar Piastri wins the F1. I don't know. It hasn't happened yet, but put your money on it.
Yeah, I'm off to WA for 3 weeks, so I got a whole bunch of shows there, bunch of corporates, some pub gigs, some regional gigs, a couple of club shows, and then ending.
Same camps?
No, all different ones.
That's awesome.
Yeah, all different ones. I think I've got one pub that's the same, so I'll be at Newman Pub. I can't remember what date. Some point in July, I'll be there at the Newman Hotel. I'll be headlining that show, Boom Shakalaka, which is nice. I'll be playing at the Leaderville Comedy Club on July the 5th in Perth, and kind of all day shows, night shows, early morning shows.
Wow.
So it's going to be really doing a few gigs in mine sites where you do your gig for the staff who work the day shift, and so it's like an 8 p.m. show, and then we go to bed, and then we wake up and we do a gig for the people who've just finished their night shift, which is an 8 a.m. show.
Yes.
Which is just mental. Like I am not in thinking comedy at that point. I'm thinking, give me a coffee.
Yes.
So that's going to be wild. And then the 18th and 19th of July, I'll be at the Comedy Lounge in Perth, which is, in my opinion, the best club in town.
Book now, it always sells out.
It
Perth,
does.
All the smugglers over there.
And then I'm back I'll be back for a few weeks, and I'm going back for a weekend in WA. And so I'll be at the Comedy Lounge again with our mate, friend of the show, Jared Goundry, on the 10th of August.
Ooh, exciting.
So it's all happening. So yeah, I'll be covering a lot of Ks.
Yes. Good. And we got some fun. We got some episodes. We got some interviews lined up. We'll try and do some remote episodes while you're over there. So very excited for what's coming up for the smugglers as well.
What do you got this week?
I've got F all. I was just thinking. So I'll be around the traps. Go to the socials and check the stories for what I'm doing next week.
Stay tuned. Hell yeah.
That's it. All right. Thank you, smugglers. Thank you, Dools.
Thank you.
Catch us next time.
See ya. Bye.